One of my favorite YouTube videos, a channel, Ascended Cinema, made a video about RRR. And I remember, DMing him about this movie to check it out. I don't know how much that influenced it, but he has finally made a video about it and I'm really excited to watch it. So let's have a look. You can check out the original video. I'll put the link in the description and definitely subscribe to the channel because it's a really, really good one. He got a lot of comments.
Alright, I get it. What else can I say about RRR? Fellow YouTuber Patrick Williams already did an excellent video.
He did a really excellent video and I think he was one of the first person to do it in the Western side. And he actually saw it in the theaters, not when it came on Netflix. So if you haven't seen that one, definitely check it out. I wish I would have reacted to that also, but it's okay.
Saying everything I want to say about this movie. And he has an Indian friend to help him. I don't even have friends, period. In case you don't know, RRR is the biggest Indian movie in history. Set in the 1920s, when India was still under British Raj, this war epic tells the fictionalized story of two Indian revolutionary heroes. Despite one working as a police for the crown and the other a tribal warrior fighting against the British, these two find themselves forming an unlikely friendship. Their conflicting loyalty is the central drama of the film. With spectacles and high emotions all expertly presented, this is a very well done movie. But with just that description, it's also really difficult to parse the reasons as to why this movie is this big of a deal. To me, that's what's lacking from most reviews. Rarely does any critics manage to convey the importance of the film without sounding silly, like calling it a religious experience. So that's what we are doing today. Let's talk about the cultural context surrounding the film, what makes this movie so important, what expectations you should have for the film, as well as offering my personal thoughts on the movie. It's finally time to answer your request. This is my review of RRR.
Chapter 1.
Imagine you are in the late 80s, early 90s.
Now that dinosaur still looks so good. Not seen this movie.
One day, Spielberg, Stallone, and Schwarzenegger, all at the height of their career, suddenly announced that they are making a movie together with the working title of Triple S. That's what RRR is, a backronym. It stands for Rajamouli, Ram Charan, and Rama Rao Jr., the film's director and its two leads. Ram Charan and Rama Rao Jr. are two of the most famous actors in the Telugu language cinema. But to anyone unfamiliar with the Indian film industry, it's difficult to explain why they are such big deals. So let's put it this way. Indian cinema, like Golden Age Hollywood, operates on the star system. It's the same system that created Humphrey Bogart and Marilyn Monroe. You see a Monroe movie, you call it a Monroe movie. The star are the franchise.
Yep.
These stars' on-screen persona are inseparable from their off-screen self. If the movie makes them look sexy, it's because they are sexy. If the character is a badass, the actor is perceived as a badass. You are not here to see Ethan Hunt's adventure. You want to see Tom Cruise hanging to dear life.
That's true.
That's the level of power Indian stars command. They are revered cultural icons. Every time the two actors are on screen, they are presented with such dignity and glamour, they look like gods among men. Sometimes literally. Not to mention, Indian actors
the music he is using the video is like the typical, Indian music done by a Western person.
To look good, act well, they fight, they dance, and they sing. Although most stars don't actually sing but are dubbed over, the prestige is still there. Then there's the Spielberg of the group, director S.S. Rajamouli. In the past decade, Rajamouli has proven himself to be one of the most sought-after directors in India. All 12 of his movies are box office successes of the top 5 highest grossing.
That's very difficult and rare.
Films in India, 3 of them were directed by him. One of them is RRR. He, like Spielberg and Nolan, is one of those directors whose names make the franchise.
Yep.
This is why the movie is titled after these 3. They are the movie. But there's one more reason why I compare Rajamouli to Spielberg. Up until recently, the various film industries and markets in India were somewhat isolated, separated by language and cultural barriers. Spielberg's Jaws is the first blockbuster to take over the entire country with a wide release. Similarly, Rajamouli is arguably the director who created the pan-Indian blockbusters.
He's very well researched, huh? But I have to add more to that the actor thing. That I think that's what also makes this film stand out, because he's not using the stardom of these actors in the film. He's using them for the characters who are at that level of the star. In the film, it's never about the star; it's about the character they are playing, and that's, I think, what makes it special than any other film just using these big stars in their films.
His film Bahubali was filmed and released in multiple languages across the entire country.
Yes.
Because of that, everyone in India, regardless of region, language, and culture, can enjoy the same movie at the same time. Rajamouli's movies became this cultural event that brings the nation together. And his newest film, RRR, just so happens to be a patriotic war movie in which two heroes from vastly different cultural backgrounds unite together to fight for India. Now you can see why people are so excited. Over the top with the undertone of silly is often how people describe Indian movies. Yeah, when your movie introduces one of your heroes by having him fight through a crowd of thousands, and your other hero by showing him fighting a tiger with his bare hands, it's not hard to see why there will be a culture shock.
Yep.
To understand why Indian films are the way it is, we have to travel back in time. Like many other
very detailed video.
forms of art in India, early Indian cinema is heavily shaped by traditional folktales. At the beginning, Indian films are often adaptations of myths and legends. India's first full-length motion picture, for example, tells the story of a king being tested by the gods, with Lord Shiva doing a textbook Deus Ex Machina at the end. Kings, gods, and larger-than-life heroes are all common themes in these early days. These folk stories were the cornerstone of Indian storytelling, grand operatic stuff not too dissimilar from ancient Greek theaters. Over the course of the next 100 years, the religious theme gradually faded, but the mode of storytelling remains. This is why RRR and many other Indian movies appear so over the top. Look at this image. Doesn't it remind you of Heracles fighting a lion? Or this scene, not so different from the Monkey King's Havoc in Heaven. American films often value immersion. Even in films with fantastical characters, these characters must behave like real, everyday people.
Yeah.
But most Indian movies are enjoyed as stories and stories alone. Characters, especially heroes, often behave like gods in ancient myths. When these two heroes become friends, their friendship is,
I wonder what are his thoughts on the KGF franchise.
quote, more precious than my life. When these characters dance, it makes the earth shake, and the cinematography presents it as such. The level of energy in this dance scene is truly stunning. It really does feel like a battle of two gods, especially when you consider the importance of dance in various Indian religions.
Yeah.
Conversely,
it's also, about how art is, developed in a country is from Navrasa, and we believe, to have 9 emotions, and our art should, have everything. Every emotion, every dance form, acting, whatever, drama, everything. And that's what represents in a film. That's why the masala term, because we want everything in our art form, and that's where it comes from.
The ridiculous mustache-twirling British villain might as well be the literal devil. The administrator's wife is the most sadistic woman imaginable. Unsatisfied with the lack of blood in a public torture, she hands out a spiked whip to make the victim suffer more. The hero, while enduring unimaginable pain, sings a song that would move the world to his aid. This is human emotion amplified. They are stories that feel timeless. When dealing with mythology, you don't question Hercules' strength or Hou Yi's ability to shoot down the sun. You simply enjoy the poetry of it, and I think that's the best mindset to have. To enjoy RRR as the latest entry in the Indian cinematic pantheon.
Chapter 3.
With all that aside, what do I think about the movie? It's solid, no surprise there. RRR has this consistency of quality throughout, making the film more than the sum of its parts. For example, the two heroes are represented by fire and water, and the movie is very committed to making this metaphor stick. The moment these two...
And I think that's why, I feel RRR is more polished film by, SS Rajamouli till now. in every department. Like technically, it's the best he has done till now. Bahubali, both Bahubali films, a lot of places the things doesn't look that good. It doesn't work that well. There's no consistency sometimes through the film, but the storytelling is very impactful. And here it feels like technically everything, it's sorted, planned, everything, and it all works at the end. Everything looks amazing.
They are trying to save a child from an exploding train above a river. It's literally a fire meets water moment.
Yeah.
When the two clash, one fights with a torch, the other with a hose. Even small moments like this one. A portrait of one of the heroes is shown, and you see water splashes in the background. Then the portrait flies off and lands on the same puddle. It's the same kind of consistency that makes Parasite so impressive, which I also made a video on.
That is the one of the best videos I've seen ever, and especially of a Parasite movie. I think this video made me realize how amazing Parasite is, that I couldn't see all these things in the film when I watched it first time. And after watching this video, I went back and watched the film again, and I was just blown away. Definitely check out his Parasite video.
Admittedly, I'm probably not as moved by this film as most Indian viewers. Seeing the first unofficial flag of India being used as a shield, or using Indian animals to fight against the British are all highly patriotic moments. I can understand the emotion it would incite, but it's different.
I don't think that was a patriotic moment. I think the film builds it up that they are the villains, and they are the heroes who are struggling, and now it's a fight back time. So I don't think, because I think that's why the Western people are loving it, because it's not about, oh, I'm doing it from a country. He's just there for the girl and injustice, and that's very universal. So I think that I'll not call it a patriotic thing that, only Indians would feel happy when he attacks with the tigers.
For me to actually feel it, Another thing I really like, the healthy display of emotions from both heroes.
Yep.
Similar to Tekken's phone call scene or John Wick's Baba Yaga scene. RRR has the shepherd scene.
Yeah.
After the British kidnapped a tribal kid, a messenger tells them that a shepherd would come and pry open the tiger's mouth to rescue his lost lamb. It paints our hero as an unstoppable badass. But when he meets the kidnapped girl, who's revealed to be his little sister, dude starts crying and is unsure what to do. This is so unlike the quote-unquote Sigma male fantasy, I find it rather refreshing. The two heroes laugh and cry together, such a display.
That's definitely refreshing for Indian cinema also, because we don't see that. Like, if you take KGF, right, we don't see him emotional, or we see him emotional, but not like, vulnerable. Only time he's shot once, but that's it. So other than that, he's just alpha male hero in that sense, But in that storyline, that works. Whereas here, it was very refreshing to see our actors, showing every emotion possible.
Affection between men would have been called gay by many people in the West. But this is precisely why the friendship feels mythical. That it is a friendship more precious than life. I wish more people can feel this confident at expressing their feelings. Finally, and perhaps the thing that most people would notice, this film has a sense of scale. These sweeping wide shots are raw and epic, with tons of extras in the background and sceneries being destroyed. Even though it has a lot of CGI, it feels different from modern green screen Hollywood. Part of the reason is that the film stays wide a lot of the time. The camera is always steady, motions are smooth and calculated with excellent blocking. These are all techniques that classic Hollywood has used, but seemingly forgot. This may be why Western critics love RRR so much. It reminds them of what cinematic experience used to feel like. And I have to say, this is also my preferred type of cinema.
Conclusion.
Like myths and legends, like ancient Greek theaters, RRR is classy. Most reviews fail to convey that. It's that storytelling method as old as time. It's that human emotion amplified and put on display. It is filmed in ways of the cinematic epics, like Lawrence of Arabia and Ran by Kurosawa. It's a movie that makes the old feel new again, a film that utilizes cinema as an art form to its fullest. It's no wonder why everyone is talking about RRR. In many ways, this marks a new height for Indian cinema. Watching this film is like watching film history being written right in front of your eyes. It's so rare to see a movie and instantly know it will be a classic. like Jurassic Park or Lord of the Rings. If you have any passing interest, go watch RRR. It's not just an enjoyable movie, it's also an important one.
Okay, that's a good one. I like the shots used at the end. As I said before, one of the best person making video essays on YouTube. Definitely check out the channel. He makes a lot of, lot of cinema explores throughout, the world, not just Hollywood or, Indian film. A lot. And I think he also made a video about Sholay. Definitely check it out. And he's someone who's into cinema, and I just love, his videos. So definitely check it out. Talking about this video, as I said, there were some things, he did a very thorough research about, why the film is important and why it works, and, the history of Indian cinema and how that translates into RRR, and, with the actors and the director's name, the RRR is out of that, right? And I think Patrick Williams didn't get into that history because he was trying to make the video for Western audience, to understand the film and just go watch it. Whereas he's more trying to, break it down where people have already seen. Most people have already seen the film. And let's see, man, where RRR goes. Asad Rajamouli will be at the TIFF, film festival, the Toronto Film Festival. Then he's also going to LA, the Chinese theater, which is like the big Hollywood theater when all the premieres happen there. RRR is already sold out within minutes. Big place. He'll be there watching the film with people there. So a lot of big things happening. Maybe I think this is the start of the marketing for Oscars. Let's see what happens there. Fingers crossed. But do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until then, check out this video. If you like this, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.